So this next album needs no introduction. People that know me, this is my all-time favourite album. And there's a reason why I'm kind of doing this, because I have done it a few times in the past. But there is a new version of this, and I'm talking about the Sex Pistols, Never Mind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols, which is the title of this record. Believe it or not, Never Mind the Bollocks, here's the Sex Pistols. And it's often just shortened to Never Mind the Bollocks. This is the album day, and also it is a limited edition clear crystal vinyl for album day under Rock. I had to get this. I've got this album on so many different kind of numerous variations, and because the new version come out, I'm just glad to be talking about this album again. My camera just rocked because my dog is jumping underneath my table. Now, this is the only studio album by the Sex Pistols, and it came out 28th of October 1977. Now, this is my all-time favourite album, and there's many reasons why. So if you've seen my previous videos on this, this is the whole reason I got into music with this album. I was very young. I had a friend called Ronald. Thanks, Ronald. And his grandparents or his grandfather took us down and bought this album for us, and we would have been like maybe 8. So that would have been end of 77, beginning of 78. We bought this, and he bought this record for us. So he's a very liberal grandparent, and that was so good because he bought me a copy. And I remember it coming in a brown paper bag, or wrapped in brown paper. Not quite sure, bag or wrapped, I'm not sure. But he bought this album, and I can't remember how much it was. But I remember I had to pay his granddad it back really slowly because I wasn't earning money at all. I was 8. But we used to listen to this album again and again. And before this album came out, I wasn't interested in music. It wasn't until we seen the Sex Pistols on TV. Everyone at my school were into the Sex Pistols, and this album then got released, and we got a copy of this. I didn't get the original copy. Now, the original copy of this came with a free single and a poster, and the reason for that is on the back of this, you've got Submission on here, but the original, there was a version, the original version that came out didn't have Submission on it. It's supposed to have had Submission on it, so that's why they put a free single with it. A one-sided single was Submission, and you had a poster with it. I've never seen the poster. I'd never ever seen that version, but I know a few people have spoken about it. It does exist. It is the Holy Grail if you've got it, and I'm not sure how much that's going to go for. But numerous, this was a time. Glenn Matlock, who was the original bassist for the Sex Pistols, left the band early in the recording process, and while he's credited as a co-writer on all but 2 of the tracks, he only played bass on 1 song, and sang on Anarchy in the UK. Recording session continued with the new bass player Sid Vicious. He was credited on 2 of the songs written by the band after he joined, but they were re-recorded by Steve Jones, which is like the Sex Pistols mythology. So Sid doesn't actually appear on here. Drummer Paul Cook Jones and singer John Ryan appear on every track. The various recording sessions were led by Chris Thomas or Bill Price, and sometimes together. But if you listen to this album sonically, considering when it came out in 1977, the recording process must have been incredible because the guitars sound amazing, and like the amount of instrumentation in it, there isn't that much, but it sounds so big. And like the vocal layering, the vocal presence in this album. I mean, this has influenced so many bands. I mean, you can see I'm getting excited about this because this is just an incredible album, and it will always be my number 1. But just a bit about the kind of controversy about this. So it said in the United Kingdom the album was subject to what whoever Halen is, described as blatant acts of censorship exercised by media and retail outlets alike. And I did hear stories of people getting fined for having the posters up in the window. And it says here, London police visited the city's Virgin record store branches and told them they faced prosecution for indecency as stipulated by the 1899 Indecent Advertisement Act if they continued to display posters of the album cover in the windows. So the displays are either toned down or removed. And it's all over the word bollocks. We've come a long way. 4 singles were released from this album. You had Anarchy in the UK, and that was the first time I ever seen them. I think they were on Top of the Pops doing Anarchy in the UK. Now, that is in 1976. I can't believe it was that kind of early. Things were different. We grew up kind of different then. We didn't have access to the internet, and so we used to watch TV religiously. So to catch things like the Sex Pistols in 1976, incredible. and I'm sure it was on Top of the Pops. I haven't done a bit of research because I'm sure it was Top of the Pops. They did Anarchy in the UK, and then they did God Save the Queen. Obviously, we all know God Save the Queen. What an iconic record. Actually, just to let you know, the original title of this album was going to be God Save Sex Pistols. That was going to be the original title of this album until Jamie Reed's new concept for the artwork changed it all. And never mind the Bollocks was saying that Jonesy used to come out with. But that was going to be the original title. But that was released in 1977. And then you had Pretty Vacant released in 1977. And then you had Holidays in the Sun released in 1977. So 1977 was a big year for the Sex Pistols. It might be 1977. I've seen them. I don't know. I don't know if they played it again. I'm not sure. I think it was Top of the Pops, and it was definitely Anarchy in the UK. But this is released a couple of weeks ago on album day. As I said, what they do, we did the last video on the Joseph Mary Chain Psycho Candy, and this was one of them. And I put a pre-order in as soon as I found out about this. So nothing's different on here. The artwork's the same, front and back, but the vinyl. I've got picture discs and all sorts from Record Store Day from years ago, and I've got the American version. The American version of this album came out with the pink sleeve and the green writing, the green Sex Pistols. But the vinyl on this is clear. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. So one side you've got the pink label, and the other side you've got the yellow label. I'd buy this if it keep releasing this on different. I'll keep buying this. I've got so many different versions of this, but I do love the fact this is now on clear vinyl. And it sounds great as well. I thought I'd have a listen to this because a lot of time clear vinyl or different colour vinyl doesn't sound as good, but actually this sounds really good. So quite impressed with the pressing of this. Same with the Jesus Mary Chain. I'm quite impressed with the pressing of that as well. So I think they're getting better when they're pressing to things like colour vinyl. Maybe they're using different materials. I don't know. But that is my number one album of all time. And this is the album day release, limited edition crystal clear vinyl. Thank God I pre-ordered it because I did go to about 3 or 4 different shops thinking I'm going to get a second copy just in case. And no one had it. It was gone. It was sold. No one had this. And that is the Sex Pistols, Never Mind the Bollocks, album day release on clear crystal vinyl. If you're a Sex Pistols fan or a fan of this album, you have to get this variation of it. No doubt I'll be doing other videos on this with different variations or in the future because I can't stop talking about this album. I mean, there is not one dud track on this album. It is just incredible. And if you don't know it, you've got to check this out. You know, I say that every time. And it will be coming number one. But anyway, that is the iconic album, Never Mind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols. So please check out this album. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much.